God bless you, God bless you, and God bless you. This is Bishop Pelt. This is the day the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. And I'm excited to be with you on another Teaching Tuesday. This wonderful format started as a result of us having the time coming through COVID. And just by way of just trying to reach out to you, for those of you who may be watching us at your lunch hour, those of you who may be watching us on demand after we finish this, thank you for your support. Thank you for the kind words I received. For doing this. I'm not a professional. I'm just a guy who likes to try to hopefully meet and touch people. And I pray that these times of Teaching Tuesday have been great. I heard a great response as we came back with Pastor Danny Papa last week. And again, I believe we're going to have a powerful, powerful time of enlightenment and informing and hopefully making an impact in your life. Listen, a few announcements. Listen, we are fastly approaching our state convention. But I have news. We have sold out of the main hotel. We received word this morning. And if you're looking to get a room, we do have overflow housing, but it is at the Rosen Inn, which is at 7600 International Drive. We have some rooms there. They are working very hard with this, but we are having to do that. If you still desire to be at the main hotel, they will put you on a waiting list. But we want you to know this price is a great price point. At this point, if you go to this property, 7600 International Drive, if I'm correct, it's about $69, $70 a night, which is considerably cheaper, but there's a distance. And so, for the price and the convenience, you will kind of sacrifice the price and being up close to the convention. But listen, I'm looking forward to seeing you, whether you're at the Convention Center Hotel or whether you're at other place. We are looking forward to everyone, Orlando, Leesburg, Lakeland. We want everybody, lottie-dottie, and everybody to come to the 22nd or the 2020 State Convention. It's our 98th convention. And the theme this year is Church on Mission. And listen, it's going to be a powerful time. Great speakers, great singing, just a great Florida Cocoa Church of God reception. Workshops, times of meals, just a fellowship to be with the saints. And we're looking forward to a powerful time. We want to make you aware, pastors, on Thursday, first off, that the ministers meeting has been moved to Friday morning. All credential ministers, I need to see you Friday morning as we will have our ministers meeting. And it's very, very important that I see you there. It's going to be a time of enlightenment, a time of education, a time of impact. But I need to see all credential ministers on Friday. But for those senior pastors, Thursday, one of the things we're doing after we have our workshops that morning or service that morning, Thursday morning, we're going to have just a free lunch event. It's a time that we go hit golf balls over top golf. We may even go to Mario Andretti and do some driving. But we need you to register. All senior pastors who are going to go with us to this event, we need to know you're coming. Folks, it is critical that not only do you need to make your reservations, which many of you have not done, but you need to get your registration. And we need you to let us know you're coming. Folks, as you know, we're still in a very unique situation in this world. And so one of the ways we can better plan to help for our meetings is to truly properly know that you're coming. And so one of the things I'm asking you to do, if you would be so kind to help the bishop, is just to let me know you're coming to that event. But then not only that, third Friday is our Heritage Luncheon. And Heritage Luncheon is a great, great time. And we're looking so forward to seeing everyone come to the Heritage Luncheon. But we need, again, to know that you're coming. If we don't know you're coming, we can't properly prepare for you. So if you would, that ticket is $30. It is for everyone 65 and older. It is free. I told someone, it's amazing. This is the one event that everybody wants to be old. I don't have anybody say, Bishop, I'm 65. I said, I need to check ID this year. I think I am going to check ID. But 65 and older, you are free. 64 and under is $30. But I need to know that you are coming. And if anybody wants to sponsor this great event, please feel free to do so. Listen, it is free to those who are 65 and older. And this is our way of saying to our heritage, thank you. We say it so glibly, but we've come this far by faith. But can I tell you something? It was these great men and women who have literally paved the way for me to sit in this chair, for me to have the privilege of being a bishop, who literally reared me into salvation, and I am forever grateful and thankful. And this is just our way of saying to them, listen, we want to love on you real good. And I pray that they will come and be a great part of this great meeting. And then on Saturday morning, we have our time of prayer breakfast. There's a time of prayer breakfast for the men and a prayer breakfast for the women. Starts at 8:30, and the tickets again are $30. Yes, you gotta pay $30 to have them eggs and biscuits and bacon. You know, bacon is always still good, even at $30. Bacon. So listen, but we want to come. Listen, Lady Pelt has a wonderful time. She gives some awards for people who have sown into ministry. Bishop Vincent Pope, who's over our Life Builders group, will be sharing. And this year we have some other special guests who will be with us. It's going to be a great time. But again, for us to properly plan, we need to know you're coming. So if you would, we also want to remind you that we also take the time to remember our fallen. And if you have not sent in your memorial remembrances, please do so. We want to make sure that we take the time to say thank you to the Lord for the life, the legacy of many who've gone on to be with the Lord. And so we really need you to get that information in. If you have any questions, matter of fact, let me go to this. Saturday night is denim night. It is jeans, dungarees night, disciples in denim. Again, the bishop just asked a few things so I don't get in trouble with the older saints. We just make sure the jeans ain't too tight and that you ain't got a whole bunch of holes in them. And that's going to be a great night as we have a great time. It's your jeans, your t-shirts, and we truly worship the Lord still in spirit and truth. And so we're looking forward to everyone being in their jeans. I'm looking for the sneaker game. This young generation is a bunch of sneaker heads. And I hope I have me a set of kicks on that the young people think I'm hip and cool. I don't know if I'm going to be hip and cool, but I'm going to do my best. And we're going to have a great time celebrating the Lord on that. And then Saturday morning is a time in which we do our MIP CAMS graduation. We have had wonderful individuals who have gone through a time of training, and we want to celebrate them on Saturday morning. Our speaker will be the Dr. Estrella Alexander, a powerful, smart woman, and it's going to be a great time. Listen, I want to remind you, on Friday night, our general overseer, the Dr. Timothy Hill, will be with us. On Wednesday night, my executive liaison, Dr. David Ramirez, will be with us. We're going to have a great time. On Saturday night, Reverend Runzel Pretlow is going to be with us. We still wrestling with a little bit of Thursday, but right now we tentatively Bishop Rudolph McKinney being with us. But we're going to have a good time the whole way through, and it will just be a greater time with you. Listen, we move right out of state convention into youth camp season. And we want you to know we want to celebrate youth camp. It is our last youth camp with Bishop Billy Gowdy as our youth director. Him and Lady Mary Ann have done a phenomenal job. And we need your help. If you would like to volunteer as a counselor, we need you to fill out the volunteer form so we can do a little background check on you. We're in a different day and time. Everybody can't work with everybody. And we do want to make sure that everybody knows that anybody who's working with their child has been vetted. But we also want to say to parents, send your children. Youth camp is one of the greatest evangelistic tools in this church. I'm a former youth director, but I'm also a former product of youth camp. Youth camp literally kept me in touch with God over the summer, make sure my mind didn't get on wandering. And when I came to my senses because somebody set a seed in my heart to love the Lord with all my heart, mind, and soul. And I'm just asking you, let us send the Gowdies off with one of the greatest revivals ever of young men and young women coming from all over the state to our campground in Leesburg, Florida. The 11th of June to the 15th is going to be a powerful time. Folks, if nothing else, take a break. Give yourself a break. Put that money aside. Put them kids on that bus and send them home. We do need a few of you to stay around the chaperone, but send them home, and we will love on them real good. We come right out of youth camp going into our General Assembly. This year, our General Assembly, the 78th Annual General Assembly, will be in San Antonio, Texas, the 25th through the 29th of July. It's going to be a powerful time, and I'm asking all ordained bishops, all ordained ministers, all members of the church to make sure they're in place. There are many items that we will be discussing and voting on, and we want you to be a part of the discussion. We want you to be a part of what God is doing in our church, and you are a part of our church. And I do believe, like the state convention, General Assembly is a time for our kids and people to get together from all over the country, from all over the world, to let people know that we love them, and most of all, we love God and we love the Church of God. And so I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there during that time. Listen, I want to give a little shout out to all the graduates again. You guys have just been doing a phenomenal job. I've been just impressed by the graduations I've seen. And I just want to challenge you. Listen, don't get grown and get gone. Remember, it was the prayers of the righteous that got you through. So don't you get too grown and get away from us. I want to see you at church. I want you to become an active member of your church. And for those of you who the life will move you on, I want you to find a church that you can be active in, preferably the Church of God. But I want you to be active in a church. I believe that God did not gift you with that degree for you to get away from his glory. I believe he's given you that degree so you to do great and mighty things, oh Lord. And that takes me to where we're going today. Listen, today we have one of our own who's going to be talking about a very serious subject, and that is the issue of mental health. One of the questions that has been asked to me, and we will be kind of focusing on at convention, is, Bishop, how do we better cope with the issue of mental health? And how do we cope about it? We as a culture, whether it be African American or just Pentecostal church culture, these two cultures sometimes don't seem to know how to handle the issues of mental health. I want to be very clear, I'm not a mental health counselor in any way. But one of the things that I do believe that we must begin to become better equipped with is to realize that people are hurting, and that hurt caused them to hurt other people. This past weekend, we've had a very tragic shooting in Buffalo. We are all mourning. We went right from that to seeing a situation in California where there were two horrific acts of violence carried out because something got into the minds of the perpetrators that would engage them to the point, or enrage them to the point they felt that they would need to go and kill. But folks, mental health is not only on that extreme. People are in a state of depression where they just shut down. They can't seem to function. They can't seem to move. And one of the things that was just on my heart is I really need to figure out a way to let you know, first off, that we're here for you. We want to minister to you. And tell the Florida Cocoa family and the Church of God at large, and they know about friends who are watching today, we have to be better receptively and responsibly to help our individuals who are dealing with mental health issues. So today I want to introduce a wonderful young lady, and that is Denise Solomon. She is a certified counselor. There she is. Look, she got a stuff for licensed mental health counselor.
Yes.
I'm about to go get me some letters put on mine. How you doing, dog?
I'm doing great today. How about yourself?
Doing well. Thank you so much for coming on. Listen, a lot of people may not know who you are. The bishop, I think I know everybody. I've kind of watched you kind of blossom up and grow. But introduce yourself and tell us who you are and maybe where you go to church and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Denise Solomon, and as Bishop Pelt said, I am a licensed mental health counselor here in Florida. And what that means is I am licensed to see individuals who are suffering with mental health problems or mental illnesses. I have a private practice, and currently I also work for the Collective Wellness Institute here in Tampa, Florida. And it's our goal and it's our mission to reach everyone that needs the help. We do accept insurances and also private pay. And we are here to answer those questions. We're here to break those stigmas. We're here to break down those barriers because we all can use a therapist in our life from time to time. And individuals are learning that they do not have to go and seek therapy when something is wrong. They can just go and receive a mental health checkup. We do that as well.
That's good stuff. And one of the great things that prompted me was, number one, I've been trying to talk about it throughout the state. I as the bishop, I realized that COVID, it really banged us up real bad. It banged up the church, it banged up the pastors, and it banged up the psyche of many people. And one of the things that seems to have been coming out, literally, I just got this today, that it says stress tops mental challenges that pastors face. Can you kind of talk to the fact that what were the trends that seem to manifest, especially after COVID? Because I don't know if we talk, I guess we might have been talking about mental health, but COVID kind of really brought it to forefront. And so can you talk about some of the trends you saw as people have had mental situations and maybe even help the bishop with the nomenclature that we need to use, because I think that's another stigma. We call you crazy,
Right.
and that's that boy that acting
Yes.
crazy. So
we
so kind of
yeah.
walk us through. Let's do that. Let's start with maybe the nomenclature first, so I'll make sure I get it right, and then kind of talk to us about some of the trends that kind of seem to come out of COVID that you are having to face right now.
Okay. So you're correct. Well, first I just want to say Buffalo is my hometown.
Wow.
And so we are, we're hurting and it's devastated. We're upset, we're angry, we're tired, and we're frustrated. And we just want to say thank you for all the prayers, all the thoughts, and we're looking forward to action. That's going to take place. It seems like many times when these situations happens, there's always thoughts and prayers, which only goes so far. But we're looking for action and we're looking for change behavior as well. And so with the nomenclature, you're correct. We always say crazy, or that's just how they are, or they've always been that way. Because during those times, we didn't know exactly what to name it and we couldn't pinpoint it. But now our technology has gotten so great where you can ask Dr. Google and Google will come back and tell you something. For example, it's you would feel a little nervous if you saw someone walking down the street talking to themselves, but you would feel more comfortable if they were walking down the street talking to themselves with a bottle of alcohol in their hand, because you can justify and say that they're drunk. Versus if they didn't have the bottle, maybe they're schizophrenia, or maybe they're seeing things, or having hallucinations visually or auditorily, and it just makes people a little bit uncomfortable. And so we have schizophrenia, we have depression that has came out since COVID. Depression will look like you isolating yourself and not wanting to talk on the phone, not wanting to go and hang out with your friends, not wanting to get out of bed for many days. That's when it becomes a problem. You also have anger will come out when individuals are depressed. Your thoughts will become negative, and you'll think that there's something going on with you, or something that's happening. But because you're isolating and your friends are trying to check on you and your family, you're pushing them away, not realizing what's happening. And many times, especially for women, we always think that we're failing because we're supposed to always be on 10 all of the time, taking care of the house, going out of the house, working, and just, always be happy, because we don't have time to be sick. You even see the commercials. Moms don't have time to be sick.
Mm.
We always have to be on go on 10. We've seen a lot of anxiety come out, whether it's people who have lost jobs and they lost income, whether it's individuals who are the few that's left at work and they're being overworked. And so they're anxious and they don't want to take a day off because they need the money, or they don't want to lose their job. We have individuals that do not take vacations because I'm needed. If I'm not there, what's going to happen? They either take time off, or your body will make time for you to take time off. So the anxiety looks like excessive worry. Um, you can shake, have tremors, your heart will begin to race, your breathing changes, it becomes really fast, and you can't calm yourself down. Maybe you're shaking, or you're just staying in the house all the time because you're scared to even go outside or to engage in anything that can be of good to you. We've also seen domestic violence has been on the rise since COVID, because a lot of people have been in the home. And so individuals are around each other, whether it's parents and children, or spouses or couples, they're just going at each other. Now, these issues may have always been there, but because we don't know how to communicate with one another and listen to one another in a healthy way, they just go at each other. So we've also seen that on the rise as well. And we've seen, I'm seeing a lot of young people come in, late teenagers to early 20s, just trying to figure out who they are in life and just trying to find their identity. Um, One thing they realize is that they are smart and intelligent in high school. They're in these high achieving programs, and then when they come to college, it's like, I'm not the smartest one in the room. Okay, so my parents want me to make all A's. I can't make all A's. I'm freaking out. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm going to go home. They're going to comment on my weight. They're going to comment on my grades. They're asking me, why am I here? Why can't I make it? It's supposed to be easy. And for these college students, they're so anxious and scared of failing that they don't know what to do and they think that something's wrong with them. And so, how many people handle mental health challenges is by self medicating with drugs. Alcohol is easy to get, marijuana is easy to get, and whatever they sell in the store and out in the street is very easy to get. Not everyone wants to come and see a therapist because they don't want to be labeled as crazy and they don't want to be locked away as in Baker acted. So I've had many clients come in to tell me, sometimes I just want to sleep, but I don't mean I want to die. I don't want to, and they go into this rant, and I'm like, relax. I get it. Relax. You just a little exhausted. It's okay. You're tired. It's not a problem. Something else I'm seeing also, Bishop Hill, is that individuals are nervous that they're not being as productive when they're sleeping. I was so unproductive, I just slept. I said, well, great, because your body needs the rest. But in their mind, we're so used to being on the go here in this country that if you take a day to rest, you're not being productive and there's something going on. And oftentimes they're called lazy.
It's so weird to think about it. And again, this is Bishop Pelt. This is Teaching Tuesday. This is the wonderful, wonderful therapist, Denise Solomon, a great young lady. And we're talking about mental health issues. Is this Mental Health Awareness Month? Did I miss the month?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's right. You're correct. Yes, May
Okay,
is Mental Health Awareness Month. Yes.
And again, she just highlighted some of the things that have been prevalent and maybe growing through post-COVID. Now we're in COVID, post-COVID. Let me ask you a question, because I think again, in the context that I know I operate most of the time, historically, and I'm just trying to think in my mind, there were family members who were different. I'm gonna use the term different right now, but their difference seemed to be more genetic. So they would have been what we would call mentally slow. They were not so much. It was not so much stress related. But our culture seemed to say even those folks seemed to be a little more balanced. You knew they were special, the best way to say it. But we kind of had a rule that you better act like you got good sense.
Right. Don't embarrass me outside.
So that person, their challenges were controlled. We seem to have lost the ability, and I don't know, maybe we never really had control, but it seems that now we don't seem to have the ability to put the bumpers out. Why do you feel we're starting to see it manifest so much? Because again, there's probably been these situations before. We just didn't see them as prevalent as they are now. Why do you think that is?
Well, if we don't know what they are, if we don't know that there's a mental health issue or challenge or illness that's happening, we don't know what to put in place. There's so many. My daughter had attention deficit disorder. I knew what it was, but for me, I waited until she got to a certain grade just to make sure. And then I took her to the doctor, but I wanted to find a doctor of color. One, because of the racist undertones in this country, and I didn't want anybody experimenting on her. So I had to do my research before I took her in to go ahead and get medicated. She got on the medication. It helped put things in perspective, and she learned how to manage it on her own to where she was able to come off the medication. So we have that fear that's there as well. I don't know. I know there's something going on, but I don't want to go and get checked, or I'm scared to do so. I don't know. Are they going to tell me the truth, or are they going to treat me harshly because of my race, or I'm a female, or I'm a single parent, what have you? So if we know what it is, then we can help. Or sometimes people will go and will have the diagnosis, but that's not what I have. I don't have that. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. Something happened to you. So you may have a chemical imbalance where you need this medication to bring your chemical levels that's like this to here so you can function normally. And that's okay. There's truly nothing wrong with that. But once you know what it is, then we know how to work with it. Now we know how to put the bumpers in place. Now you know the treatment, what helps, what doesn't help, and now you know how to move forward to function in life. Because I guarantee you, You see so many people out here, you have no idea what mental illness or mental health problems they have because they're able to manage it.
And again, I think that's one of the critical points, and I think one of the great challenges for us as a group, as us, even as the church, we struggle with maybe that next point. Okay, so we've identified what it is. How do we best help this person live through it, or as you just said, live to a point where things get a little equilibrium back to where they're not in that state again? Uh, what have you found that one of the reasons mental health has an issue is because there's not the support in the community? You just said we don't know what it is, but if we do know what
Mm-hmm.
it is, do the caregivers have a stigma about saying, I don't want to be seen as the one caring for this person?
Mm-hmm. Correct. So historically, in our community, there and there still is a stigma that's there. But the more and more Black therapists that come out, the more and more Black individuals and individuals of color will come and see us because we're not judgmental, and we understand because culturally we get it on that level. So the trust has to be there. Something with the church as well. The church, it's great that I'm seeing the churches looking at and embracing mental health. One thing as a I'll say religious culture we have to do is, one, be humble, and two, if we are accepting what the Bible says and that we are God's masterpiece and that He created us, He also created us with these mental health illnesses and challenges, and He also put people in place like myself to come in and to help. So we have to, one, accept that fact. We accept the medical issues. It's okay to accept the mental health issues. And I know, from yesteryears that maybe it's Satan, it's demonic, it's whatever, and so that fear is there. Why is myself or my family being attacked? Why does stop giving devil so much credit? Stop giving him. He's not as powerful. And to go and get the help. So once you are given the diagnosis, accept it. Okay, I have depression. All right. Okay, doctor, what do I do with depression? The doctor will tell you, there's medications out there and there's a therapist you can work with. Okay, so that's your next step, is to go and research. I tell my individuals to see a psychiatrist or an advanced registered nurse practitioner. That individual will diagnose you with whatever mental health illness that you have, and will let you know the treatment and medications that you can take if you choose to take it. They'll let you know what it looks like, how it manifests, if your children will have it, if you received it from one of your parents. They'll let you know what medications you can take. And you can research that on your own and come to a conclusion if you want to go that route. Everybody don't. And then people will come and see us therapists to learn how to manage it on their own or in conjunction with the medication. So once we go ahead and we accept that, then we can go ahead and learn. Like there's nothing wrong with having these things. The issue comes into play when it's untreated, and you as a parent or as an individual know that they have this and it's untreated, and you refuse to get the help because of your pride or your ego. And then in turn, this individual grows up like this, unable to they don't even know what's happening. As children don't know what's happening.
Hmm.
They're unable to manage. They don't know what their brain is saying. They don't know that it's not healthy because they've always been this way. And so you, as a parent or guardian, you have to step in and make these decisions for the children. At least find out what it is. Listen to the teachers if they're speaking with you. Listen to the doctors, or even go ahead and get second opinions, or call your community, your pastors, your families, your siblings, because somebody in your community, in your circle, knows what this is, and they're willing to help you and go with you and walk through those steps. So if these underlying mental health issues is untreated as this individual gets older, their life is not it's not going to be great, and they will fear going to get help. Or, as I'm finding, some individuals say, you know what, I've been dealing with this my whole life. If my parents would have only listened to me, or the teacher, I could have gotten help. I could have been better in school. And, they go back and they have a lot of regrets. And so I come in and I say, as parents, we get scared, we get nervous, we don't know who to trust, because of what happened in history. And we just don't want to be looked at as there's something wrong with my child, because then there's something wrong with me. I caused it, or why is Satan attacking my family? So there's a lot that goes on why people refuse to get the help.
You just said something powerful, and I hope again that part of this discussion, we'll definitely probably talking about it as we get to state convention. We'll probably be talking about this, but I want everyone to know that when you have done the best you can, it is no foul, no harm in saying, I've done the best I can, I need more help. And one of the things that we want to tell anybody, if you find yourself feeling, I always say, you kind of know something's off. You just, I don't know, I'm sleeping a lot, I'm irritable. You're a pretty happy person and you're irritable. Or you're not a happy person, all of a sudden you're just giggling like you're crazy. You see these major mood swings. Go get help. Go get help. And I hope to our churches that to our pastors. I know we may not be trained therapists, but if you have a therapist in your church, I would hope that you would partner with them to say, listen, I have situations that are growing, becoming obvious, and I need your help to help me through those situations. One of the things that I get a lot is I hear a lot pretty much now is Bishop, I feel like I'm having this bipolar episode. Can you explain bipolarism? What is that? So we can get a. But I think that's one of the ones people say, how do you know if you see it? How would you identify somebody who may be having the indication of bipolarism? The best way to say it.
Yes. So that word has been tossed around a lot. It was even in the song, and I had to tell the young people to stop singing it because people who truly have it don't want it at all. So what some individuals see is you'll have someone that's happy one minute and sad, and their moods are all over the place. According to that person, that's not a trained licensed mental health counselor or therapist. And so they'll say, I think you're bipolar, and that's yeah. Oh, Google said, okay, yeah, that's what it is, without going to get the help. So when someone has bipolar, they go through a cycle, and that's where the word bi comes from. There's two different poles. So instead of them being here, they're here. They have high highs where they have a lot of energy. They're able to do a lot of get a lot of work done. They're able to multitask, and everything is going great and well according to them. This is what we see. And then when they hit that low, like they are low. You are in the bed. You're not getting up. You don't know what's happening, and you are there. And it comes in cycles. It can come the same time every month, every oh so many weeks. So I teach my clients to pay attention to your moods and track your mood so we can pinpoint what it is and what it isn't. That's in essence, that's bipolar. You also have bipolar depression, where some individuals will get so severely depressed because of it that there's medication that help with that as well. Yeah. So that's bipolar. So that, not to loosely just throw the term out, but really take the time like to really look it up and look at like what we like as a therapist. Yeah, right. This is our Bible in a sense. You see how thick it is. And
the DSM.
Right. And
okay,
they just made a revision, so we got to get that too. And like we go and we study, and we ourselves have to really make sure, like if you were to come and see me and use your insurance, I have to give you a diagnosis on the first session. It does not mean that it's going to stay with you forever, but right now, because of your insurance says that's what they need, that's what we have to do. As we continue to progress, that diagnosis will change, and it'll be more concrete because we will really truly find out what it is, what's happening with you, if you're truthful when you first come in the door.
The other thing that I'm hearing a lot of, and literally I get enough splattering of calls where I know it's an issue, and that is PSTD.
PTSD.
Yeah, PTSD. How you see I'm messing up. And here's the thing that again I ponder, and I have to catch myself.
Okay.
why do we see the spike in that? Because I think there's been a real spike in that. And again, I just think maybe the church, we were kind of caught unawares that we have people who have that situation. And, even our worship style can set people off. It at least can trigger that anxiety. And I never pondered it. I'll give you an example. I have a couple of members who never sit in the front of church. They just never sit. And I'm like, why you always sit like this? No, man. One was in the service. He said, listen, I always sit where I can see the door. I will never sit with a door behind me. I'm never sitting there. And literally, I would notice the head swing violently if someone came from a certain angle. And I'm like, no, bro. So kind of talk to us about that. And again, what are some things churches can do to help minister and alleviate some of the stress that comes from that?
Okay. So PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's not just for our military individuals. For example, the shootings that happen, individuals will have PTSD from that.
Wow.
The fear. The last time I was in a grocery store, someone came and shot up the grocery store. Most likely, they're not going to walk into a grocery store for quite some time until they have an understanding that they will be safe. Your church member will continuously not sit with their back to the door because they need to know, because whatever happened in the past, I'll say that's how they got. Something happened. And so with the stress from that, they do have to talk with a professional about it. Well, what was the stressor? What was the trigger? What happened? Okay, this is a situation that happened. Okay, I got it. What are your triggers? What sets you up? What activates the stress that comes along with that? Oh, loud noises, or maybe loud singing. If someone walks by me real fast, if someone taps me on my shoulder. Okay, so let us learn some coping skills to help you feel safe, to help you watch your surroundings. And maybe for that individual, sitting in a certain area brings that stress down to where they know, one, they're still participating in the service, but two, they know they're safe until they continuously work through that and work towards that. Some individuals do breathing exercises, they do progressive muscle relaxation, or they have different mantras or sayings that they say to themselves to make sure that they're safe.
That's good stuff. And I would even want to take this step further, because again, I've seen it happen because of episodes like we just had this weekend, to where children are afraid. You hear the tension in little young hearts. I go to schools many times, and you talk to kids about stuff, whether it be I've talked to little kids and I've talked to high school kids, and you see the effects of these things happening to where it is making them see stuff and hear stuff. How do I guess I made that statement to say, again, in our culture, and I tell people, especially church culture. So let me be clear: I'm not just talking African American culture, but Pentecostal church culture. What are some things you would recommend to us and say, listen, stress is not going down, anxiety is probably not going away. We're gonna see the manifestation of these things. What are some things that, first off, we as leaders can do to be better equipped to identify? And then how do we take what we identify to help train or at least educate our people so that they're in a better position to, again, assist people through these times?
So with the children, there's and with adults, there's an assessment that we use called the ACE, and that's the Adverse Childhood Experience Scale. I just wanted to make sure I was saying it correctly. And so with that, we found that there are individuals who live in certain areas where they have experienced a lot of, I'll say negative family patterns and childhood experiences, to where it can manifest as post-traumatic stress disorder. So you have that. And so you have children who live in certain families or households, or whatever is going on has a negative impact on them. And so in turn, they go to school and they act up, they show out. They're not able to listen. They're not able to follow directions.
That's a
I'm
classic clinical
anxious
term.
and
I like that. That's a classic. Hey, show out. That's
yeah, and they have behaviors, and so and we as parents, why are you acting up? We get on to the kid instead of really just trying to take the time to one communicate with the child. Because one thing I learned at church is honestly it was Pastor Darrell Page who was teaching Sunday school, and he said we take the time to teach our children to speak, and then the next 18 years to try to tell them to shut up. So it's not fair to the child, and that brought something into me. And I was the parent that said, well, why my daughter got to talk? Cause she's just a child in my house. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so the education was that the child in the home, we are the first adults that the child will interact in the home.
That's good
So
stuff. I
we have
like
to
that.
teach our children how to communicate. We have to learn how to communicate. I had to learn that. I had to learn how to allow my daughter to speak to me in a way where I wouldn't believe that it was being disrespectful. If she had an opinion, if she had a question, or if she just expressed her feelings to me. We have to learn, one, what are our feeling words, and use them. All of them, not just the five that we stick to. Teach your children what are the feeling words. Ask them, honey, how was your day in
Now
school?
listen, now you got me. What are the feeling words? Because listen, you know in our culture, hush. You ain't grown. Be quiet. You see grown people. Them the feeling words. I got a belt. That a feeling
Yeah.
word right there. I give you a feeling. What
Yeah.
are the feeling words? This may help somebody. What are the feeling words?
Right. So I don't have. Okay. So I don't have. So, and I'll send you the PDF also, because it has on one side the feelings when your emotional needs are being met. On the other side, when it's not being met. So you have, so in anger, when people get angry, there's a litany of things that happens. Maybe they were depressed, hungry, they were angry. I'm sorry, lonely or tired, and then all of that, or they felt disrespected, and all of that leads to anger. Because I was like, well, before you became angry and threw a chair, which one of these were you feeling? Oh, I was feeling irritated and disrespectful because I'm tired. Oh, okay. So when you're irritated and disrespectful, it leads to anger. Okay, so how can we handle this better? Because if we can't communicate this to our children and we send them outside to other adults, they don't care about our children the way that we do. That's just my belief. They don't, unless they just have that genuine love from God in them, and they care about the children, and love them. But we have to teach our children at home. We have to teach us at home. It's okay for us to talk to our elders and say, you know what, Auntie, every time I come to the reunion, you always got to comment on my weight. If I don't comment on anything that's happening with you, you don't have to comment on my weight, because it's going to start an argument. So you have to, take really teach our children, like take them to the side and teach them and play a game. Play a game. All the emojis that we have on our phone, play a game with the emojis and well, what does that look like? If I'm like this, what does that mean? Because we have to teach our children. If we don't, we will not know what's happening with our children. We'll always believe that they're being bad in school, because trauma, anxiety, and depression in children look just like ADD or ADHD, and a lot of our children are being medicated unnecessarily. Where all we have to do is really sit down and have a conversation with our children. We
Now,
really have to get into that mindset of having these conversations with our children.
one of the things as I hear you talking, and again, the preach in me says, the Bible said a soft answer turns away wrath. But the Bible also says, be swift to hear and slow to speak. And a lot of times we don't see the merging of these principles. You said something, and I'm guilty of it. I'm a parent. I probably got it wrong more than I ever got it right. I'm the daddy, you the child, hush.
Right.
And we probably suppressed, but I think we do that on a lot of stuff to where then when people want to talk, they don't even know how to talk. Because they feel once I start telling you, right. And I'm gonna just be upfront. That's one of the challenges the bishop has sometimes. I listen to everybody, but I ain't gonna tell you no lie. There's some days in my brain I'm going, what did they just tell me? Lord have mercy. Woo, okay, all right. Okay. Right. Let me ask this. How, as you are in the field, are you finding men or women are being more susceptible to what we would consider mental health, or are you just seeing it across the board? Are you seeing young, old? What are you seeing out there?
um, across the board.
Mm.
But it seemed, before there was a lot of women coming in for counseling. Now I'm seeing more men come in for counseling. And again, I say it our American culture because I'm not too familiar with other cultures out there. Men aren't really allowed to speak or express themselves because you got to be a man. You got to be hard because we ain't no punks out here. You
Yeah.
don't be a sissy. You ain't gonna cry and get emotional. That's just the language that I've heard growing up. For the boys, only the women's supposed to be emotional. Hey, because you want them to get married, and then when they can't communicate, what are we teaching? What are we
Mm.
teaching our children? So the young men will go out and get dirty and play and outside, and the girls is with the Barbie trying to be nurturers and moms and wives and all this stuff, and so that when they come together as they get older, what are we gonna do?
Mm.
And so they both are starting to come in, and
Wow.
so and both are coming in to learn how to communicate also, from not being able to, or just that fear of the example I gave, going to the cookout and auntie, girl, you sure was getting fat. Look at that, look how fat you got. Now you haven't seen me in 5 years, but that's the first thing you comment. I can't comment on your roles. I can't comment on your failed relationship. I can't comment on you still alive. That would be it's disrespectful for the things that we want to say. To say, oh, let's shut her down right quick. We have to. I said, let me talk to you for a minute. And it's okay to say, that's disrespectful. It make me feel anxious because people like, I have a family event coming up, and I'm afraid to see such and such person or individuals. How do I manage that? You afraid of the family? But then I have to remember, I get it, because those negative family patterns were down passed down, and no one is trying to make that into a positive experience for these individuals. That happened. So it's an influx of both men.
But you know what? You said something that when you think about this,
I
I
love
thought about it. I hope that church, and I thought about, we have a convention. I said, so I want to just put this out there, guys. We need to be mindful. I've heard people say, "Bitch, but you show is bald headed." Well, I am. I'm bald to the back of my head, and I maybe do a self deprecation where I make a little joke of my own self.
it.
But I would tell you something. Don't assume that everyone can take what I can take. And I do believe that we need to probably find that middle ground to just say, "Man, I'm happy to see you." Because one of the things that even in this conversation that I'm trying to get people to understand is, even if you're watching me today, and I know we kind of stayed on the surface, if you find yourself in a stressor, in a level of anxiety, I'm gonna just tell you, Bishop Pelt is not a trained, licensed mental health counselor. I'm a pastor, I'm a preacher. I'm gonna do my best to walk you through the scripture, but you may need more. And one of the things that I want to be able to do is let people know it is okay to go see a therapist. I've had people get on me, and I've made a statement, and I'll put this caveat: I want you to find a therapist who is I believe, understanding the culture and church, because I understand that this the world you're gonna live in. You're not gonna leave us and go to the other side of the world. And I believe that people like Sister Denise, and we have others counselors. I'm really doing my best to get a resource list in Florida Coco to say, listen,
Mm-hmm.
there's some things you don't have to come to Bishop with. Bishop gonna take it to the Lord in prayer. We're gonna take it to the Lord in prayer, and then I'm gonna give you a referral number to Sister Denise. Because at a certain point, you need to be somewhere where you can be heard. And not only heard, but helped. Let me we close with this because I know I can't believe it's right.
Yeah, I
Almost
just wanted to
done.
say, because you asked what the church can do.
Yeah.
So there's a course, mental health first aid course. That's what's listed there. There's a course, and there are individuals that are trained in that, and they'll come out to the churches and they'll train people in the church of how to look for certain things, and so that we can be aware of what's going on.
I'm gonna challenge you, folks. You see it scrolling on the screen there. Mental health first aid. Uh, and I thought about it. I said I may need to make what I call a list for the whole church. Everybody need to know CPR, but everybody may need to know mental health first aid. And so, if you would like to reach out to her, they're going to put her number on the screen as well, because she's there now. She's over. You in the St. Pete area, Tampa area?
Yes.
And she may be to refer you. And I think one time I went to her and asked her
I
about,
do.
yeah.
I refer all the time.
So she can refer you to someone. Let me talk to parents,
Mm-hmm.
because I've seen parents just stressed because, like you just said, sometimes our children have been medicated, our children have been misdiagnosed, our children have just been labeled and not helped. Uh, Call her, find out. Again, Bishop Pelt can only take you so far, and one of the things I pledge to be to you is a resource when I don't know the reason. Uh, but as well, let me take this somewhere else. And one of the groups that I seem to deal a lot with is couples. What advice are you giving to couples who both the husband and the wife are having their own mental health issues, and it is clearly affecting the union? How are you dealing with that? Because I'm starting to see, and again, this is just Bishop Pelt, so I want to let you know I'm a preacher, I'm a Pentecostal preacher, straight. I'm gonna be this way. But I don't remember people not liking each other the way they don't seem to like each other today. They go to the wedding happy, and about 3 weeks later, I'm like, I can't stand them. I can't stand them. I'm like, well, what in the world happened? And some of this is not just love lost. It is other stuff going on that has become manifested.
Mm-hmm. So I do not work with couples. I will refer
Oh,
them out and
okay.
to her right there. And I encourage them. I do encourage.
Listen, so she just said we're gonna put that name up for couples because
That is
again,
correct.
it is
I, re,
folks.
I encourage them
Yeah.
to go and seek counseling. Sometimes you have one that's willing to go and not the other. If that one is willing to go and seek counseling, go and seek counseling. Do it for yourself. It's my belief that if something is happening in the marriage, you have to know what your role is in whatever dysfunction is happening in the marriage as well. So a lot of guys think that we're going to go to couples counseling and the therapist is going to rag on me. No, because why? Because the wife needs to know what she's doing too. We have, if you're a union, you want to be together, and you both want to work on the marriage, go to counseling. Like we have issues where only one wants to go or one wants to work on the marriage, and that's hard and that's taxing on the other spouse. And what do you do in that situation? Because we know what the Bible says about divorce. And so you have so many people staying in unhappy marriages and union because the Bible says this about divorce, and I'm going to be judged. Like one thing I hear, a lot of people. I'll give you this example. I'll say, "Hey, pray for me." What you want me to pray for? It's not your business. If you can get a prayer through, pray, because God knows. We don't need to know the specific reason why. Just pray. If you need a referral for something, oh, baby, what you need that? You got a referral or not? Because then you're gonna ask questions, you're gonna judge me, and my bench is gonna be in the street, and then we're gonna have problems.
I'm glad you hit with it because folks, here's the reality of where we are at ministry moments. That if we find someone in a mental health situation, one of the ways the church can show that we are the church is to say, listen, we're gonna get you help. We're gonna take it to him, or we're gonna take y'all to them, and between him and them, God's gonna help you. But I'm not trying to publicize your predicament. And one of the reasons in our community that mental health is such bad, because we're called, well, that boy is crazy. We'll publicize it. And we are stigmatizing people away from help. I think the other reason we struggle with mental health is number two. I'm just convinced sometimes we don't want to do the work to help people recover. Talk to the reality of why we cannot be weary in helping someone get better.
Because the Bible commands us. Because the Bible says so. If you truly love these individuals and that person, and you're not doing it to try to seek glory or to say, see, oh, I helped you, I had to help them get their life, or I had to help them, that's a glory seeker right there. You're doing it because we have to love our neighbor as ourselves. That commandment is love. And so if you love that person, give them the tools they need for help. Whether or not they accept the help and go get it, that's not your problem. But you were there to encourage the help. You were there to answer the questions. I can give you all the material, Bishop, but if you don't pick up the phone and follow up, that's that becomes on you.
That's
Like
good.
we can bring people to the church. It's not our job to get them saved. That's God's job. We just bring
Mhm.
them to the church and let that seed get planted and let God do the rest. Because we can't say, "Oh, I got you." No.
That's good stuff. Let me ask you this also to address the other side,
Hmm.
to encourage that person who's just starting this journey
Hmm.
with someone who may have a mental health situation. How do we encourage them to stay with it? Because sometimes it gets worse before it does get better.
Yes.
What do you say to them?
So to you, I would say seek therapy yourself. Seek support groups yourself because caregiver burnout is real. Like taking care of someone with special needs or someone who have a mental illness, even elderly parents, you need that support system around yourself because what can happen is that caregiver will forget about their doctor's appointments, they'll forget about eating, staying healthy. And a lot of times they pass away before the person who has the illness. Get support for yourself, get help for yourself. Don't try to be strong. Our community, we always try to be strong. One gotta listen, we're tired. Strong is tired. Strong is taxing. Strong is depressed. Strong brings anxiety. Strong brings low self-esteem. Stop being strong and go and ask for help. It's okay. It's okay to ask for help from people you know that's gonna help you and not talk about you.
Listen, you just hit something. I know in the last few minutes, I'm gonna do my best to keep within the time. But you just said something about strong. Uh, it gets depressed. And one of the other things that I noticed is, and this maybe I'm the old man, get off my lawn kind of dude, but I've seen this tension with this young generation again. It kind of went away, but really not feeling good about themselves.
Hmm.
How do we, the Bible says you feel wonderfully made, but what are you having to say to a young generation? And I never thought I'd be on the talking about, just kind of help them understand that, man, your best life is really in front of you, that you're
Hmm.
not as bad as you seem. And there's a commercial that that mental health commercial where it gets the person says, I'm not feeling when they go, well, you go buy some clothes, and they go, that didn't help.
That didn't help at all.
Talk to us, because we got a few minutes. I want to definitely let you close with that. To kind of help a generation to have a right esteem about themselves.
Well, the one thing you did say, and it's in the Bible, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. That's an affirmation that you can say. So I teach people how to create affirmations for themselves, that self inward validation, because we have always done something, as in go to the potty, saying our first words, or bringing AIDS home, and everybody's clapping for us. But there comes a time where no one is going to cheer for us, and we have to cheer for ourselves. So that's where that affirmation comes in, and it builds up our self confidence. Expectations. I ask people, I said, well, whose expectations are you attempting to live by? Because people will place expectations on you without you even knowing it. So when you fall from grace, you're just a scum of the earth, and you
Mm-hmm.
feel bad. So, what expectations are you having for yourself? What promises are you making to yourself that you want to achieve? And so, we have to get back to that self validation, that inward validation, and not always looking for it from the outside.
Listen, folks, I cannot believe our time is up. She has done a phenomenal job. Listen, I'm going to probably have her at convention. Let me make this known. I probably have her and a couple other people, because this year I probably had the request more than anything. And I'm going to definitely do my best to figure out a way to maybe she'll do some private sessions, or if y'all see her, I'll maybe put a big yellow bow on her and say, go talk to that girl with the yellow bow on right there and talk to me. But I want you to hear your bishop again. And to anyone who's watching online, and again, if you watched it after the fact, you don't have to suffer, first off, alone. We do believe in prayer and therapy.
Yes.
We believe that God is no less God because you go talk to a counselor. He's no less powerful because you may have to be medicated because your chemical are imbalanced. I tell people, we don't get mad with nobody for taking Tylenol and aspirin, but if we find that they're taking something to get their mental state, oh my gosh, folks, I want you to hear from me. We want you whole. We want you. We don't want you to feel like you got a bunch of holes in your life. We want you whole. And so I recommend talking to Sister Denise. I recommend, she said, Dr. Simmons for family counseling for couples, 1-800-715-3606, marriage therapy. Folks, I believe in marriage. I think marriage is a great thing. I think I got a decent marriage, but Lady Pelt might want to put me on the couch, just bust me in the head one, but that's a whole nother story. But my point is, listen, your marriage can be great, but sometimes you need to go talk to someone to help make it great. And I'm not naive. She said something that's just powerful. Sometimes we in the church will never let you live beyond what we thought your deficiency was. We come in, say, I look at you, and it got this big. So I want to challenge some of y'all. Stop bothering people about their weight. Some of y'all is about one donut from busting a button on your shirt anyway. So y'all leave people alone. But again, I thought about styles. Child, why you wear your hair that way? I think about poor ladies. Ladies get it all the time. Men don't really get it near as bad. We get, why you ain't doing more work stuff? But I think about ladies in style that sometimes we just ride you. Listen, let it be said, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity.
Unity.
Man, just be happy that people are around you. Be happy, and hopefully you can set an environment where people can come, and if they have a crisis, you can help them get through it. And if you can't help them get through it, again, Dr. Denise Solomon, 813-563-8227. Is there email you want to give them? Then we should.
Yeah.
Put that out, then we'll put that up. And again, to pastors, she said there's a course out there called Mental Health First Aid. I would challenge you to look at that. And we will definitely be trying to make sure we have resources even at convention, because folks, it's not going away. We're starting to see these issues in the church. And I just believe that maybe God has put it near the church so that the church can show people that Jesus is near them. Her email, Sister Adrian, if you put that one up for me. She did is wellness@gettherapy.org. Listen, wonderful young lady. If you're in the West Coast area, I highly recommend her. If she say something, I was about to say she say something crazy, but I don't need no word. But she say something you don't like, call me. Can't say crazy.
You can do that.
Tell the bishop for me. Tell the bishop, tell on the bishop. She know. I say, what are you telling people over there? But I do again want to just say thank you so much. She is a jewel, a wonderful young lady. We're praying for you. And now, as we close today, you may be watching and say, Bishop Pelt, I may not be able to get to a therapist, but can you take me to the master? I can. I want you to know, first off, the word of the Lord says very clear that he'll give you counselors. That is one thing God gives. He gives you people to help you make decisions. I think to help you with discernment, to help you with direction. But he also gives you these counselors to help you with your development. And then he said, I did not only that, but I gave you a deliverer. I did give you Jesus. And one of the things Jesus said, I'm touched with the feelings of your infirmity. That's why he gives you counselors, because he wants you to know, I feel what you feel. Jesus, people say, did Jesus ever get depressed? Sure. When he looked down and he realized that he was about to go to the cross, the Bible said he was so overwhelmed that the sweat was like blood. He had nobody to go to. Even on the cross, he literally, and I know many of you say, he said, I know what it's like. And he wants you to know right now, between the bishop and the counselor, he wants you to get better. So, Father, today we just ask you to touch that soul that is watching today. I pray, God, today that first off, they understand that situation, that illness, is not the sum of who they are. They are still fearfully and wonderfully made. And as Sister Solomon just reminded us, oh God, we thank you for great men and women who are counselors. Father, you gave us the Holy Ghost, the counselor, to come alongside to help us. We thank you for women like who come alongside and help brothers and sisters walk in a manner that is pleasing to you. I pray you bless her practice. I pray you bless the works of her hand. I pray, God, that the words that come from her mouth will bring life to the hearers. And again today, God, we say, will you touch that one who's downtrodden? Will you cause them to look up and live? And truly let them know, God, that we're not just about the shout, but we're about so much more. Will you bless them today and let this be a great, great day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Listen, I love you, daughter. Thank you so, so much for being on with me.
Thank you very much.
And again, listen, one of the things we're working on, so we want you to know, listen, Sister Adrian, put an email on the screen for us, because one of the things we want to do, if you are part of the Florida Cocoa family or you are a counselor, we really want Christian counselors. that would not mind being a part of a referral list for us, will you please let us know? We want to get that out there. Pastors, do not be afraid to pass certain situations on to credentialed people. This woman is licensed. You licensed to preach. You're not licensed to some of this stuff. And I think sometimes we need not be afraid to pass these situations on that we cover them on the spiritual side. And she'll cover them on the secular side. And together we'll see people come back together. So again, if you are a Christian counselor and you want to help us reach people, will you please let us know? You can always reach out to her directly. You can reach out to her email, wellness@gettherapy.org. You can hit us here at the state office, 321-632-5660. And we would love to put this stuff together. We love you today. And we want you to know, listen, look, we'll do our best to have it. You said you'll send me a PDF as well.
Yes.
What's that PDF again you're going to send?
Oh, the feelings will. Definitely
Listen,
send
man,
that out.
the feeling where we want you to get your feeling where, the Pentecostals always thinking, I got a feeling everything going to be all right. Well, we want to give you some words to make sure you can say it all right too.
Yes.
Amen. Listen, I love you to life, and I want you to know, and I mean this from the depths of my soul, I'm praying for you when you pray for me. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, you are important to me, and we need you to survive because we need you to be Coco strong all day long.
Yes. Yeah.
Reverend Denise, I call you Reverend. You licensed? We got your church. You got an exhorter license or something?
I'm a licensed mental health therapist, Bishop.
Yeah, we put a little B3 behind it. We get you to tune it up.
Listen.
When you be preaching, you can finish speaking in heaven. Shalom. We love you. Listen, and until next week, we want you to just stay Coco strong all day long. Listen, we love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.